Welcome to the recap of Pulp Cthulhu Blackheart Crucible Section 39. As always, let me thank Juce at Master the Game for hosting and playing, his partner in crime, Paul at Awkwardly Nerdy, Bill at RollStats, the unholy trinity of Jason, Josh, and Isaiah, and Dustin for his role as 13. And let me thank past players, Dave for his role as Lieutenant Reisman, Mike for his role as Special Agent Ralph Macchio, and Brendan as Illumination Boy. We pick it up as Bonnie has been stricken with madness. The players must cure of her affliction and find Dr. Gonzalez, who now appears to be posing as a yig. Let's check some of the pre-show banter before we begin.
Luther, you do realize that armor would actually get her killed if she gets hit, though.
When does that happen? She never wore armor before.
Does it
and matter?
Wearing armor, she might have a false sense of security, and then she'll step in front of the blade and get stabbed right between the boobs into her heart because of the way the armor is formed.
I'm fine with that.
You're fine with Bonnie dying?
I am 100% fine with that. Yeah, for sure.
And as always, the show is for mature audiences only.
The rowdy Pulp Cthulhu crowd. Don't watch this in front of children, your wife, your mom, your boss, anybody at work.
And if you've managed to make it this far, go ahead and grab yourself an adult beverage, your favorite salty snack, and go ahead and get comfortable as we are about to begin. What now?
Will I need a calculator?
No.
Because I have one. But I took the batteries out to use them in a crotch massager.
Bonnie is on the floor currently writing on her arm all these strange symbols. As you have returned, as soon as you walk through the door, Jacques kind of stops for a second and he collapses and falls asleep. You can hear him snoring. And you see Snake in there shuffling cards as he has forgotten why he's even in the pyramid and is happy to see you return.
I was about to take all this feller's money, but it turns out he ain't even got none.
Well, that's disturbing. What else are we working for?
Everybody's working for the weekend.
Maybe he does have some money. He just don't want to lose it in a card game. He's got to pay y'all.
Tell us a two-gun. I think you should give your friend here something to write on. She doesn't have much flesh left.
Dickle-dig, 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 dickle-dig.
I'm going to restrain Bonnie. I'm going to try to hold her back. And I'm like, Blake, slap her. Slap her. Throw some water in her face.
Bam! Right across her neck.
We are trying to help you, Bonnie. You're not yourself right now.
Bonnie's no pushover. She works out. Remember, she was trained to be a spy at a young age.
You know, how
we're trying to pro wrestle her.
Somebody's having a nervous breakdown sort of situation. You just slap them just to bring them to attention.
Open hand caressing.
Technically, that is a sport in itself.
Maybe we should try this later, yeah?
I gave you the tobacco and the rolling papers earlier. Why don't you give Bonnie some of those rolling papers to write on?
A cigarette?
Yeah.
You can't get much on these.
Skeletor, do something. Make it stop. They're your runes. Turn them off. Snap your fingers.
What are you talking about? I thought they were just butts on the random drawing scrawls. I didn't even know they were anything.
We're going to exit this tomb because it doesn't seem to be very good for you. Are you in there somewhere?
Continues to try to get paper.
Hold the pen out in front of
it's a
Bonnie's
ballpoint
face like a carrot.
Here,
I start following pen.
13's gonna take some spare potatoes that he has, and he's gonna hand them to Bonnie as additional writing surfaces.
Right as I enter where I'd actually physically leave the pyramid, I stop and I look behind me, and then I go ahead and I go back into the room.
Blake, you just have to. I'm sorry. You're just gonna have to tackle her and drag her out.
Yeah, I mean, I thought we were fighting.
So Bonnie, as soon as you run back in, to the entrance, you stop, and right inside the entrance, you notice all the writing, and then you start taking that down. So you've only taken one step inside the pyramid now.
I'll Goldberg spear. The actual concussive force of her head smacking the concrete pyramid floor will knock her unconscious.
BVP.
Dickle-dig, dickle-dig, dickle-dig.
You knock her to the ground. She's still awake.
I'll start crawling back towards the pen.
So Luther grabs as many syringes full of morphine as he can find, and as Bonnie is down on the ground, he's going to attempt. And Luther doesn't have any medical training, but clearly he has stuck a needle into.
Yeah. You find one syringe.
Okay.
In his gear, and you jab Bonnie.
Well, maybe there's this moment where Luther sort of like you can kind of see this longing. But then he runs over to Bonnie and jabs at it.
So you see Bonnie's just trying to write, and after a while she just drops the pen and falls asleep.
Don't fight it, Bonnie. Just go with it. Enjoy it. Enjoy the ride.
We should not rest in this pyramid. Apparently, it is obviously detrimental to Bonnie's sanity.
Yeah, Skeletor, why are you drawing a bunch of stuff on the walls if you don't even know what it means?
I didn't draw them. They were here when I found it.
Oh, this isn't even your pyramid then.
Oh, it is now. I'm here. I claimed it.
What happened to your previous residence?
There was an unexplained fire. That's what I told the insurance company.
Skeletor, we should wrestle sometime.
Do we need to lube up first?
Some might prefer that. I would not. But you gotta have something worth wrestling for, like a championship title.
You're just bones. There's
Well, technically only his head is bones.
well,
He's got
true.
meaty muscle everywhere else.
That is true. That is true.
I do a lot of ab work.
It shows.
It glistens in the moonlight. Look at those abs.
Okay, we have become so completely derailed that I have legitimately forgotten what
Dickle-dig, 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 dickle-dig.
our objective was to begin with, right?
It's going to happen. My abs do derail things.
What were we going to do at the close of last session?
Dickle-dig, 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 dickle-dig.
No idea.
Our plan, we are still looking for the odd yig out. For an unknown reason, Bonnie at the time,
Lost her
Bonnie went into the pyramid and lost her mind.
And we're appreciating Skeletor's abs.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll see the future. Maybe the yig is just like the ninth ab.
Shapeshifter. So it could be any one of you.
Except it's not. We've been together the whole time.
Luther
That's why
looks
we've
all-
told people if we're ever
That's
alone,
not
we can't
necessarily
trust
true.
us.
Wait a minute. Are we sure that this is the real Bonnie? I think I asked that the last session, right? Like, how do we know that this insane Bonnie isn't actually Dr. Gonzalez? And that's why the shapeshifter
Because
reacted
it was
to the
still
runes
Bonnie.
and-
She was still trying to investigate everything.
Dickle-dig, 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 dickle-dig.
I still don't trust Bonnie. Or should I say Dr. Gonzalez?
So there's a bunch of crap like piled in this room that they've got covered. Pull off one of the tarps, then you see a 7-foot solid gold statue of some kind of probably Roman.
Okay, that's
deity.
mine.
4 or 5 paintings that look like they have some dust and stuff on them. They look rather abstract.
I might be an art history major. Hold on.
Probably the 40s. They're Jackson Pollock.
Cutting the canvases out of the frames and rolling them up and stuffing them into his pants.
There is a treasure chest
Hey, 13, go open that chest.
Check for traps.
full of gold doubloons.
Remember the time there were the runes on the floor and then I dropped some blood into it and it ended up like, activating, right? So what if I cut Snake's hand, this knife here, and we drip some of Snake's blood onto the altar and see if that activates it.
Snake's thought is if you try to cut him, you might get shot.
Snake, it's fine. You know what? Here, I'll give you a Jackson Pollock for it.
Yeah, they never feel it in the movies. Don't worry.
You can have a handful of gold doubloons. Like it's
Blake can do it. He's tough.
No.
Blake.
He already offered you. You're first. I grab Snake and hold his hand out for you.
and then just jabs his hand.
So Snake's blood begins to soak up into the linen, and you can see the runes as it starts to soak it up. You suddenly forget why you're even in this room.
I wasn't sure why I was in this room to begin with.
And you're not sure why your hand is bleeding.
Received the stigmata.
Your hands just started bleeding.
He wore gloves to cover his hands.
I would like to try and pick Luther's pocket for some painkillers.
Luther's clean and sober, buddy, man. I wish I had some painkillers. What do you play poker for, Skeletor? If
for fun, Two Gun. What do you think?
No, I understand that, but what are stakes for you in poker? Clearly it's not gold.
Personal reputation, of course.
But what do you bet?
Right.
Whatever I have.
That's why Skeletor has such a good poker face, because nothing matters to him.
Poker face.
Because he doesn't give a shit if he wins or loses, really.
That is true.
Are you talking about my staff? Yes. Have it
should-
in the other room.
Have you ever gambled that? Because that would be a really cool thing to have.
Oh, I have. I've got 20 of them. Why, you want one?
I want Skeletor's hood.
I want one, yeah.
If we take care of the Yig problem and the Raptors, will you give me one of your hoods?
And I get a staff.
Of course.
All right.
I'll wear it to the wrestling ring every time.
Wait.
She was a pizza delivery driver. Of course,
But
she
Bonnie
got baked.
How like she never? When
Dude,
she,
you know.
I would have matched her. What the hell?
When you were throwing up in my room, she was baked that night too.
I learned it by watching you.
Do you have that bad of a memory?
Again, I was on drugs.
And we all know Bonnie would open the next box, take a bite, and put it right back in the box.
Yeah, for sure.
Someone has to taste the pizza sauce. Yeah. Yep, it's good.
3 hours later.
We're going to pretend that Blake and 13 have had a 3-hour debate about pizza.
Bonnie, I thought we lost you. Bonnie.
Numbers, Blake. What do they mean?
How do you feel, Bonnie?
Wet. I'm covered in blood.
The fact that you haven't reached for a pen is a good sign.
Do you know the meaning of life? And you were desperately trying to write it down.
I only know the question to the meaning of life. It is 42. Skeletor,
So
you don't happen to have a change of clothes and a place I can take a
Of
bath?
course I do. You've seen Blake's outfit. You can have a matching Mennonite outfit, of course. You'd like smashing.
Sorry.
It's the longest, thickest Mennonite dress ever.
Unfortunately, yeah, right. It's like it's made of like wool, and not even just like wool, the itchy, thick wool,
and it's the turtleneck type. This might end up being my new wrestling gimmick without the white shirt under it.
Oh, it should be. It absolutely.
I'm gonna grow the Abraham Lincoln and wear the straw hat.
We need to find this Yig. Blake, I will knock you out. If you say one more word, we need to go.
Hear that rabbit throwing hands?
Me? Not Luther? Luther's talking over here about he got us going on pizza. Yeah, and that's Luther's fault, not mine.
That cocaine will not make up for the 3-hour time difference.
Time to move.
I can't believe you, 13.
You guys didn't even go into the thin crust versus mid crust versus deep dish
versus Chicago style, New York style, Detroit style.
Come on.
Yeah.
There's you missed a whole portion of the fucking debate. All right, guys.
Let's split the party and have half the party patrol and half the party go to the bar.
Whiskey and women sound better.
There's no women here, Luther.
We'll find one.
It's all snakes. You pull up a dress and there's a snake.
I mean, a Yig is close enough.
No, it's not.
I believe we established last session that there is enough
cloaca
in the vicinity.
Referring to the small orifice where the intestinal, urinary, and reproductive tracts all empty.
I still don't know what that is.
Derived from the Latin word for sewer.
I still won't look it up.
Some freshwater turtles can use their cloacae to help them breathe underwater.
Blake, I have a brilliant idea. We're going to ask everybody in the bar what questions we could ask Yig. Only Yig would be able to answer.
First, you could ask him what a cloaca is.
What do birds, amphibians, reptiles, sharks, dinosaurs, and echidnas all have in common?
I Googled that last week. Trust me, you don't want to.
I stick to my original plan. I go straight to the piano.
Okay. He goes to the piano. Luther goes up to the bar and literally reaches into his pocket and fills his hand like coins are falling out all over, and he slams the
They're gonna
coins up on the
retire.
bar, and he says, "Drinks for everybody." If a Yig were to walk in here, what would you ask them to determine that they are actually a Yig?
Would ask them to quote parts out of the Gospel of Yig.
God of rattlesnakes. What kind of elder god is this? He's not from outer space. He's not from another dimension. He's the god of snakes? Really?
Boys, get down. And everybody in the bar ducks down as you can hear gunshots go off. And it sounds like it's coming from the Drinking Coin Saloon. Walking back down the street, and somebody comes staggering out of the saloon. You can see that they've been shot and they're bleeding. They see you and they're like, there they are. That's one of their accomplices. And it looks like he's reaching for a weapon.
I'd like to punch him in the face.
You punch him pretty good. You can tell that his Gorn skin is pretty tough.
I don't know what your problem is, but you need to stand down. You're outnumbered. And if you don't surrender, I'm afraid you're going to get murdered in the street.
You need to get your buddy in line then. He's out of control.
Our buddy?
That damn, whatever his Tulsa 2 something.
2 gun styles.
That guy came in here and shot up the place. Yeah.
As soon as the guy says take cover, Luther kind of broadens out his shoulders, makes sure that his little badge is showing. And he addresses the Yig bar and he's like, it's all right. We work for Mr. Skeletor as regulators. We regulate any stealing off his property. We're damn good, too. Mr. Skeletor got a soft spot for runaways, derelicts, vagrant types. But you can't be any geek off the street. Gotta be handy with the steel, if you know what I mean. Earn your keep. And I turn to Blake and I go, regulators, mount up! And I cross draw and I run out into the street.
There he is. He's across the street.
Something's going on outside. And then, like, the piano stops. It goes silent in there. And all, like, now the gig with me also, like, I'm assuming, I'm like, hey, let's go see what's going on. Yeah, because, again, these are my buddies now. Oh, shit. This is going to be like a gang fight with the yig and the gore. Oh, no. What did we do?
He's right over there, that cloaca-loving motherfucker.
Now that's one badass butthole.
And they start drawing their weapons. Luther, you're up first as you see the Gorn like start jumping through that window, guns drawn, and they're making a beeline for you.
I have already cross-drawn, and I am firing.
Two like headed in your direction. You shoot him as one comes running, get him in both arms.
Let's not do this shit. It's stupid.
Oh,
he kind of doesn't look convinced as the gunfire has started, and he sees Luther across the street now.
Luther is in his fucking glory right now. He is certainly not putting these weapons away unless somebody pries them from his gold fucking dead hands.
The rest of them are in the saloon trying to get out that window.
Yeah, I'm going to shoot the other one that's out in the street, not the one Luther shot.
Luther, you hear a bullet go by. Ricochet, but he's the biggest guy.
This doesn't look like a proper technique punch. Like, while I'm running, I go, and like full on action comic, like body flares up.
And looks like he's going to clock him, and he just goes, ducks right out of the way.
The real fake two-gun Tulsa is out there, and he's going to be not distracted by these shenanigans. Like, I'm gonna like give my hops a go, see if my new peg leg is up to
peg-legged out of there.
Here. I jump over the saloon.
As soon as you land, you look up and there's a door that is closing on the very next building. All right, now let's see. So the one Gorn who's been shot, now he's got Blake right there. He gets off a shot and like somehow misses you.
Of course, it's because of my action-packed swing. It kind of took me out of position.
In frustration, he shoots again, blasts you right in the gut.
Blood immediately comes out of my mouth.
Fires. The first shot hits you right in the chest, and then he fires and hits you in your right arm.
Luther takes sort of the shot in the chest, and you see him sort of come back, and then takes the shot in the arm, and like gets really thrown back. But with his other hand, he's firing point blank right into his face. His Gorn head just pops like a melon. And then I shoot the Gorn
in the abdomen.
I'm going to run up behind him and kick him in the back of the head while yelling, "Stop trying to die, you idiot!"
You hear a snapping noise like his vertebrae, and he just kind of collapses to the ground.
Why do I kill everyone I touch?
Snake. One is badly hurt. So you blast him right in his right leg, and he's like dragging it now. But still upright. He's still trying to make his way towards Luther. Blake, you were up here. The one that you were fighting just gets blown away. Like Luther blew its head off, and now you got Gorn matter all over you.
Yeah, and it's mixed with my blood. I twitch a little bit, like you have that thing going on. I pick up the gun that was on the Gorn in front of me, as well as pull out my gun, and I shoot at each one.
He kind of turns and you hit him right in the abdomen. You know, he's been shot twice, and in the leg, and the other guy gets shot in the leg, and he seems to almost shrug it off. This person from the back looks exactly like Luther. They got the bowler hat, and they're carrying they got the two guns and the whole getup. As they're making their way to the door to head out, you can take a shot if you wish.
So what you're saying is like a stunningly attractive man, who's just like super cool, and for sure.
So you managed to shoot him like in the back. Most of the time, blue light special, the energy goes right through things. This sort of dissipates when it hits him, but you can see clearly a huge burn mark in his back as he reaches the door and knocks it out of the way and like staggers out of the front of this building. So one Gorn has been shot a bunch of times, staggering up, and it's like, high noon, motherfucker.
Luther takes the shot like directly to the chest. I think Luther may have just died.
One Luther is dropped.
Uh-oh.
Right, so
but Luther sees himself. Luther thinks
exactly right.
From the blood loss.
I am a legend in my own mind.
Yeah,
that's true.
He remembers that time he jumped in front of the bullet.
Luther jumps in front of the blast to save Luther.
bullets.
The other Gorn's going to fire at you.
Yeah. No.
And fires and hits you right in the chest.
I'm down.
Oh my God, Blake and Luther.
Man down.
Oh shit.
I drop both guns and fall on my face.
All right, Luther, give me a con roll.
Don't do it, Luther. It's your death.
What is my con? My con is 30. All right.
You got this.
Wish me luck. Here we go.
Oh, is that how it works? You make con rolls first?
Dun, 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 dun. Okay. This is a very important roll, so I just want to make sure that everybody sees this. So that's a 00.
Wow.
And wait, 9. That is a hard success.
Luther, all you hear as you are slipping away, and then suddenly you hear, "Get up, two-gun style!" And then you just come to.
I'm going to go after the Gorn that shot Luther first.
Okay.
Avenge me!
I'm going to do a Chuck Norris spinning roundhouse kick to try and...
Where did Bonnie pull this move out?
Sweet.
I kick him in the side of the head, and for some reason the body stays there, but the head goes ripping and flying right off, most of the spine coming with it.
I think you could be a Texas Ranger with moves like that.
Sensational.
Snake's going to point out the other Luther over there and be like, "That's the one that's been shooting up people. You want to go get him?"
They had their guns down. They put them down. Now that Blake and Luther are both dropped, but they're not sure about the kung fu kicking Mennonite attacking them.
You do not know the power of our butter churning.
Hitching up the buggy, churning lots of butter. Raise the barn on Monday, soon I'll raise another.
Blake, give me a con roll.
I don't know what you did.
Oh! Wow.
It's the exact same. You rolled the exact same thing I did.
Blake, you are currently conscious.
I pick my head up and I see the blood like pumping out of my chest, and I put my hand on it, and then I see in my stomach the same thing, and my hand there, and I'm like, I look over, I see Luther laying right next to me on the ground. I'm gonna die.
Blake, grab a plastic bag. You have a sucking chest wound.
This is all your fault, Luther.
As you're trying to run through the store, there's some boxes and shit in the way. Your peg leg catches on like a table, and you're just trying to move, crap out of the way. You can shoot at him, but it'll be a penalty die. You just see the blue flash. So you blast his right leg. It takes a huge, almost chunk out of it as it goes at an angle, and you can see it hit the pyramid, and he grabs his leg, and it almost drops him. You can see the snake people have now crowded around Luther, and they're all talking. You don't understand the language you're speaking in, and they begin to pick you up and start to take you inside the big scale saloon.
Is there a doctor in the bar? I've been shot and I need to do cocaine about it.
As coins are falling out of your pockets.
This won't be the one that got away for 13.
What is that all about? Two Gun tried to kill me. He went that way. So you look to your left and you can see that a door has been opened, and there's some kind of like black mist starting to come out of it.
Yeah, without even thinking or hesitating, 13's gonna go in, but he's gonna grab the wand of Orcus and just go and swing.
You push open the door, and there's this horrible acrid smell, and as soon as you step into the room, there's that black muck is all over the floor. There's a figure in the back corner that looks like Snake and kind of looks at you, and cradling in his hands are a bunch of eggs, and he's got something in his hand. He's holding something, but the eggs are here, and he kind of looks at you like this. Give me a power roll.
Yeah, I failed.
So as soon as you walk in, you're kind of like overcome with this sense of like dread and just fear, and it sort of freezes you just for a second. As he notices that, he reaches down and you see him open something, and there's a flash, and he just kind of looks at you and smiles and vanishes.
If it matters, I'm immune to frightened or charmed spells or effects.
Okay.
That's still another failure.
So you're not really feared as much as it just kind of gives you pause for just a second, and just enough time that he's able to do that. As we cut back to Luther and Blake being pulled back, a door opens and you see like some lights go off and then cut back on, and then you're in some kind of room. It looks like a surgical room.
Oh shit.
And there's all these tubes everywhere. And,
are we back in Calico?
And huge vats, and they hoist you up. And you can see one of them grab like this hose, and he's like, You know where this goes.
Someone's getting...
That's right, CLOACA.
I blame the Russians.
I think we just like pulled up. We just pulled out, went back to the tip.
Keep pulling out.
Yogg's a goth.
Yogg's so buff.
Yogg's David Lee Roth.
Yog, so if you can think you can dance.
I mean, if you're asking, does Calico have healing powers? I mean, Luther got sober twice there.
That is true. It is kind of magical. Like Calico is a magical place for Luther, right? And like Bonnie could use some hot yoga right now.
Oh, there's all sorts of shenanigans afoot.
Well, you do know in Petticoat Junction, everything's better here.
Luther looks fucking amazing.
But he's a real menace to all single women as long as he's not married.
She's on the weird altar stone, and if we stab her, she's gonna bleed on it. And man, that sounded bad. But like anyway, that wasn't a period joke. I swear to God.
Nobody in the 21st century would have gotten it.
Are you menstruating right now?
What has that got to do with it?
Back off, man. I'm a scientist.